Hi, Amino. How are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm good. How are you, Tracy?
I'm very good, thank you. I just had a lovely walk along the beach with uh
Amazing.
with Mel and Kathy, and I showed them the artwork and they for our podcast, and they really liked it, and they thought you look really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Um, I'll try it. I'll give you two versions though, I'll try with the different two versions
Hmm.
later and send it see what you think. But anyway, how's your week been?
Not too bad. Happy hump day.
Oh, happy hump day, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's been great. Although I did end up at work on my day off, so that was a bit annoying. But other than that, it's been not too bad.
Okay. Anything else going on?
Um, I the thing we actually did talk about a few days ago, it
Yeah.
actually did end up resolving itself. And
Good.
yeah,
The thing that cannot be named.
that,
The thing,
the,
the thing we're talking about is Renal's dating life.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
And the connected neurosis. So I do feel as if it was a lot in my own head,
Mm.
which,
Isn't it
yeah.
interesting? The thing,
Yes,
the thing, the talk in our heads and what we tell ourselves, we really do write fiction a lot of the time.
yes. Because I swear, I think I worried him yesterday
Mm.
when he was texting me because he was acting like everything was perfectly fine. And I'm just like, do you not realize how stressed my week has been? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, are you for real? Like, and he's like, I still don't understand what's going on. He's like, can I call you? Because I'm not, he genuinely thought I was joking. And I normally am joking, but this
Mm.
time I wasn't joking. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
yeah, I think,
So
and
it's so
yeah,
funny because you created this whole story in your head
yes,
about how your perception of the behavior, where
mm,
he basically wasn't texting you every day like he was the week before, to mean something.
yes,
I love that. It's a really good example of what people do
mm,
and how they talk to themselves and how
mm,
they create stress and tension in their body. And it
sure,
really is self-inflicted.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
imagine if it's worse, like, if it's really, really awful things that you're saying to yourself.
yeah, 100%. And the weirdest, well, it wasn't weird, I suppose, that what came out of it was him saying, "I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself," and I was like, I was like, oh, perhaps,
Perhaps.
yes.
Mm,
Oh, who knew?
who knew?
Well, it turns out men can be right every now and then. So,
You live and learn, right? Live and
yeah,
learn.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, not a lot going on in my old dating life at the minute. I'll be sure to let
Mm.
you know if
Mm.
anything
Yeah.
happens there.
Hmm.
Lots of exciting things going on in the business at the minute. This podcast. This is our first episode.
Yes,
Woo!
yes, it's happening.
It's happening finally.
Mm.
Um, and I'm delivering a workshop for a company next week, and I'm very excited about that, putting that together. All about
Yeah,
self-care. Yeah, all about self-care and and strategies to cope with stressful times. So,
sounds great. So you did spend most of your time working on it this weekend, I think.
yes,
You
yes,
set yourself a very demanding schedule this weekend.
I know, but it's all worth it, and I love it. I love every bit of it. Mm.
Oh.
So did we introduce our names?
No, I don't think we do. No, I don't think we did.
Well, my name is Tracy Gandu, spelled
Hmm.
Gandu. Tracy Noe,
Hmm. Important.
important, and I'm a transformation coach. I do inner work, so I work with people on the, I guess, subconscious level to create change so that they can live a happy and fulfilling life. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Hello, I am Meenal. Right. Yeah, I don't. So the name, I suppose, Meenal is a bit weird. There's so many pronunciations of it.
Is there?
When well, I think when people read it, for some reason, they go Minal, which, to be honest, of all the variations of my name, I hate the most. But I do believe that there are people with my name who prefer to be called Minal,
All
which
right.
is, a thing. But I don't. So, but yes, I've had Megan and
Megan.
yes, and then like people who haven't heard it properly or prefer to call me Mina or Nina. I've had that because they've gotten so yes, but it's Meenal, like renal, but with an M. So
Like
I
renal,
know,
like a renal transplant. Is that how you?
basically yes, because I have tried to come up with ways how to explain to say it, but I think that's the easiest. And the last name is Rye. Everybody says Ray, but it's Rye like the bread.
Mm,
So, but not as interesting as your last name for some
can
people.
do.
Yeah.
Well, it's my African heritage. So I inherited
Mhm.
that African name. Also, I don't see many people with that name.
No.
But I don't personally think it's quite easy to pronounce my surname, but maybe that's just me. It's like quite easy sounding syllables.
Mm.
Gandu, can do. I used to say gandu, can do. Uh, and then people maybe get it. But you were telling me something really interesting about, talking about sounding out names.
Oh, yes. The fact that they've introduced it in LinkedIn now, so that there's a little voice prompt that you can do. So obviously you can put your pronouns in there, she, her, or whatever you like, and then you can actually sound out your own name. So yeah, it's only I think 10 seconds long or something, but yeah, I love it.
Well, you don't need to more than 10 seconds to say your name unless you like got, I don't know, lots of middle names or something.
Which I do if I had to get into my middle name, but
Oh,
yes, that would
really?
be a whole.
I do not know your middle name.
Do I know your middle name? I feel like you have told me, but I've forgotten it now.
What's
Yeah.
yours?
Oh God, it's so long. There's Pritanjali, and
Prathanjali.
yeah, with
It's
a T though.
Prathanjali.
Yeah, but of course you've put your English in there.
All right, well, how do you say it?
Pritanjali. Oh
Prathanjali.
geez. So you definitely need more than 10 seconds to do that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yes,
If you had to repeat yourself, yeah.
I know. God.
Patanjali. Oh my God, I didn't know that. It sounds like I don't know why I just got Angelina Jolie in my head. Patanjali.
Well,
Meena,
I'll take that.
Meena Patanjali. Right. I really like it. Mm,
Well, you'd like it because, well, my dad would be happy because that was his pick for my first name,
mm,
but my mum would have none of it. So,
mm.
yes, I'm actually grateful because it's Meenal is hard enough.
I think it's straightforward. Talking
Mm.
of mums and dads fighting over names,
Yes.
apparently, as I hear it, they couldn't agree on the name for me, my mum and my
Mm.
dad. My dad was wanted something very Christian, which is quite typical in
Mm.
Nigeria, and Christians very big, and so is like Islam.
Mm.
So you can usually tell by their name whether they're a Christian or if
Yeah.
they're, a Muslim. And my dad was insisting on something really biblical, like
Oh.
Mary,
Oh.
like that kind of stuff. And my mum
You're
was
definitely not a Mary.
definitely
Oh.
not a Mary. And my mum was like, absolutely no way. And I was as a 70s child.
Mm.
Tracy was quite a common name, or
Mm.
popular, let's say popular in the
Yes.
70s. And they temporarily called me Tracy until they could agree.
Oh,
Agree on the
gee.
name. But I did end up with my dad's sister's name as my middle name, which I really like, which is Naomi.
That's right. Yeah, it is a very nice name. So you're expecting a name change anytime soon. Yeah, might happen any day now when they, finally decide on a first
Oh
name.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Over 40 years later, and then they
yeah,
decide, oh, we're gonna call you this now.
exactly. Oh,
It's
no.
true. Mm.
Tracy is very, very fitting, I think. So, mm,
Well, you know me, you've always known me as Tracy.
mm,
But I could talk forever about names. So I just thought you just made me think of somebody I know, Kathy,
mm.
who are I we can't never get a name right.
Yes, Kathy, Trina.
Yeah. I was like,
Mm,
what's your name? What's your name? Can never get a name right. So I just call her what she introduced herself to me to begin with,
mm,
bearing in mind that somebody else might refer to her in a different name. But anyway, all right. So I think it's
mm.
time to move on. So we have a topical story, and it did break. It was our apologies because it was like over a month ago now,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something we would really like to talk about. So go ahead, over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to read an article written by the BBC
What was the
about.
headline?
So, what was the headline? Okay, so Pride Jersey controversy, a reckoning for Australian sport.
Pride Jersey controversy, a
Mhm.
reckoning for Australian sport. Okay.
Yes, and there obviously have been multiple articles since this one, but kind of did like this one. There's a whole bit of it introducing obviously what the controversy is and what has been done along the same lines in the past.
Mm.
And then there's a little bit from a researcher who actually this is his topic of research. So okay, so I'll read you a bit
Mm.
and we can talk about it. So for the first time in the National Rugby League, they would take to the field in rainbow jerseys, rainbow detailed jerseys, celebrating inclusion, particularly of LGBTQ people. Instead, the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles were forced to apologise after 7 players decided to boycott the key match on religious and cultural grounds. Instead of enhancing tolerance and acceptance, we may have hindered this, their coach Des Hessler said earlier this week. Amid huge backlash, the players were told not to attend the game for security reasons. Former club great Ian Roberts, the first male professional athlete to come out as gay during their career, said that he was heartbroken at the players' decision. The NRL women's star Karina Brown said that their boycott had left her enraged and frustrated. It would discourage other players from coming out, said Josh Cavallo, the only out player at the top tier men's football soccer globally. But others, including some church leaders, fans, and players, have defended the boycott, saying to each their own. If we are asked to respect the Pride community, then we should also respect Christian and religious community as well. So there's that. It does go on to say that last year, the Australian Football League, Women's Football League player Haneen Zarika, apologies if I'm butchering that name, missed a game for the same reason, but there have been many controversies around inclusion. Most famously, star player Israel Folau was in 2019 sacked by Rugby League Australia for saying hell awaits gay people on social media. A few years earlier, 19-year-old NRO player was used some extreme profane homophobic insults on an opponent, and he was banned for 2 games. So
Wow, just two.
yes, exactly. And I don't know if this was, I remember hearing about this, that in 2020, Tyler Harris was subjected to so much social media abuse, much of it sexist and homophobic, after a picture came out of her kicking a ball. It was ridiculous, really. That she actually offered to give up her salary for the competition to hire an online moderator to help
Wow.
with curtailing all that abuse. So, Eric Dennison, who has spent his years researching inclusion in Australia and overseas, says that sport is so toxic now. In his research on Australia it has been peer reviewed and published over the last 2 years. He has found just 1% of players in traditional male sport like rugby, AFL, or league identify as gay or bisexual. Around 36% of women playing in youth sports report being victims of homophobic abuse, and more than half of the boys. Those who have come out are more likely to be targets. Over half of men in all male-dominated sports say they have used homophobic language in the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Where?
sorry.
And the way even to start. That's just yeah. Is there a lot more? Is it relevant?
No,
The
not
theme.
really.
What was the name of that researcher?
Eric Dennison.
Is he like, where's
He
he
is
based?
I think he is based in Australia. Actually, it doesn't say, but he has said that this is very personal for me as an older gay person, because he's lost friends to suicide and consequences of homophobia, transphobia, and all the phobias that people can do. So,
Wow, it's interesting actually, just even thinking of calling it phobia. Like a phobia, because to me a phobia is something you're afraid of. Which maybe that is at the core of it. And then there's all, but then in my perception is it's a hatred.
Yeah, to me it feels more hatred than phobic, because you can be afraid of heights and you can be afraid of, but I don't know if you can really say that about a group of people,
who are not harming anyone.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of the times, well, I don't know about phobias and how they come up, but you can try and work your phobias, right? If you have phobia of spiders or heights or snakes or whatever, you can try and work on it. But I feel like a lot more people aren't viewing homophobia as something they can work on.
And actually it's interesting because I do work with clients with phobias to remove phobias. There's, I have some tools under my tool belt that really are really effective. And every single one of them doesn't want to have the phobia because it limits them. It limits their lives.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see any kind of hatred for a group of people. And even if they'd say, oh, it's not a hatred, it limits your life because it limits your ability to be open and interactive with anyone who you would otherwise get on with superbly, anyone you can have a great friendship with, anyone that, it just seems crazy to think about how much you're limiting yourself by having that belief.
Can you, I don't think I could think of anything that, like, if you think of, well, obviously this is a professional sport and the people who decided not to wear the jerseys, what, if I was to translate that into my profession, if there was something I could, like, I would not do because of principles or something. I don't know if there
I'm trying to
would
think
be
of
anything.
something I wouldn't do on principle. Like, what do I feel strongly about? Well, yes, I wouldn't wear, and I don't think it's comparable. I'm just talking about my principles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear like a swastika.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be really ironic if I did. But it's about the symbol and what it represents. And I guess this is, and I do understand that the people that refuse to wear jerseys claimed, I mean, as far as I can tell, and I don't know if it's in that article, for religious reasons, because of their culture, their background.
Yes, that is exactly what they claimed.
That was what the reasons. And if the only thing I can think of is I wouldn't wear anything that was based on hatred, which is what I see as the swastika in the Nazi sense as doing. So on principle, I would refuse to wear anything that's based on hatred.
Yeah.
And
Same.
the thing about, and that's the thing, we're all raised
Mm.
in a culture of religion and we're all influenced by it, and it does
Yeah.
become our values. It
Mm.
becomes how we live, how we think, our attitude, how we behave. And you've got to ask yourself, does that work for you now in this
Mm.
day and age? Does it actually
Yeah.
work for you? What do you believe and why do you believe it? Because because the thing is as well, there is Christian faiths that don't
Mm.
vilify, you know,
The
six
LGBTQ
the
community,
non,
yeah,
what's the word?
non-hetero.
Yeah, there is actually religious groups, and I have very religious family members
Mm.
that I would say would not have that attitude either,
Mm.
but they're very religious. You know,
Yeah.
they go to mass, and I just and I feel like it's a bit of a contradiction when it comes to religion,
Yeah.
because then why wouldn't you hate, like, let's just say I'm trying to think of something comparable and I don't even know if it is. I'm not Jewish,
Mm.
but let's just say we wanted to show support for Jews for some reason. And there was some symbol, I don't know because I'm not Jewish, but some symbol that represents the Judaism, you know, the faith. And would you wear a t-shirt with it on to support the Jews?
Mm.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I'm not Jewish.
Mm.
They're a group of human beings, and their faith is important to them.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that my views or values, um, even though they're not shared,
Mm.
they don't offend me in any way.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's interesting how it can be interpreted as anything other than hatred. And I'm just wondering whether it's really thought through. Like,
Mm.
if people just, because a lot of people, you know, I work with a lot of people that don't even realize or don't really even understand, don't question their attitudes, don't even question them,
Yeah.
where they come from, or what does it really mean
Yeah.
to have that belief. It's quite interesting.
And I mean, I can't think of specific examples at the moment, but there have been cases of people being so homophobic or transphobic or perhaps more homophobic, and then it's more to do with themselves. And
Oh, yeah. Well,
they
generally, and actually, that's you just reminded me of something else. There's a concept that usually anything would forget homophobia for now for the moment in every
Mhm.
single person. If somebody's really annoying you or somebody's behavior,
Mm.
it's
Mm.
usually a reflection of something going on inside of you.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll give you my own personal example. Um, I I'd met some new friends and we were getting on really well and we'd gone out for drinks. And some we were, you know, making jokes and things. And this person had got this drink and it was her. And
Mm.
she was this confident, brassy, you know, direct, you know, doesn't
Yes.
mess with her words, kind of
Mm.
plain speaking person.
Mm.
And she was drinking a drink that was like an alcoholic beverage that was like something that teenagers would drink, like you.
Tastes like juice.
Yeah, it tastes like juice. And I was just like, what? I would never imagine you drinking that. Yeah. Okay. And then it happened to be a drink
Yeah.
that had, I think it had Bailey's in it, so it was like that milky brown color. Yeah. And she said, "Oh, it's more like a drink you would
Mm.
drink." Okay. Now, what are you laughing at? So
No, it's just
go on, what's funny? Go
no, no,
on.
no, 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 no. Keep going, keep
So
going.
I was so offended. And I
Yeah.
mean, because she's obviously referencing my skin color, she's making a racial joke. And
Mm.
I honestly was so like I couldn't even catch my breath. I was really, really hurt and angry
Yeah.
that I was almost winded by it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what to say. and it was me. It was all
Mm.
inside of me. It was
Yeah.
my own thing. Now, what she said was that okay? No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But how I felt about it,
Mm.
that was all on me because I
Yeah.
had unresolved things around, you know, when I was bullied and racism I'd experienced, I hadn't resolved.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt so angry. And I could have responded in anger, and I probably would
Mm.
have had I not been so surprised, actually.
Mm.
I probably
Yeah.
would have been responded with some awful things as
Mm.
a, you know, I don't know,
Mm.
that would have normally happened, but it didn't. And but I didn't respond how I would have liked to.
Mm.
And I think I would totally respond differently if that ever happened again. And I'd probably ask her, well, what does she mean by that?
Mm.
You know, to get her to explain. So is it just the story I'm telling myself?
Yes.
Or is it really? And then I would go on to tell her how it was actually offensive and why I felt it wasn't appropriate.
Mm.
That's what I would probably without anger though.
Yeah.
You know, without those feelings that it was awful.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, my point is, you know, usually when something bothers us, it is about us. Whether
Yeah.
what they do is right or
100%.
wrong or not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually about us. Mm.
Yes, that would have been, I can imagine you handling it exactly like that. Unlike me,
But
I
I
don't
didn't
think.
handle it like that at the time.
Yeah. But I can't imagine you asking them what they meant by it and trying to make it, constructive and have a conversation,
Mhm.
to clear things up. Whereas I don't think I've ever reacted that way, even though I felt the same way.
Yeah.
So I've
But
always
it's
been.
about, for me, it's about whether it's resolved within you. Because at the
Mm,
end of the day, it's really strange. It's like that saying, I don't know if you had it in Australia, but when we were kids, we had this childish saying that used to sing when somebody called you a name, like sticks
mm.
and stones don't break
Oh, of
my
course.
bones, but names will never hurt me. Did you ever say that as kids?
Yeah, of course.
I wonder where
Yeah.
that comes from. I have no idea.
Well, I never said it to anyone because that would get me punched in the face. But yes, that would be something my mom would say.
The thing is, names do hurt
Yeah.
if they speak to a deeper wounding in you.
Mm,
Um, I have a friend, coach a friend, and I love that he says this. He says, words are like spells.
mm,
Every time you speak, you cast a spell, and the spell has the power to hurt someone
mm,
or to empower them or to, you know, make them feel happy or whatever. But the power is in the person as well, receiving it,
mm. Sure.
of how it makes them feel. And it's always a sign if you're bothered by something. And when I say, you know, somebody might shout me in the street and it might bother me in the immediate
Mm.
in the moment. But if I hang on to it, then you know you've got some stuff to deal with there.
Yes, if you ruminate about it,
Yeah, if you
I
ruminate
suppose.
about it, then you
Yes.
that's an invitation to
Mm,
do some work on yourself. Mm.
yes. I must say that word ruminate, it's entertaining because my man friend didn't know that word. There's quite a few words he's not quite familiar with. Um, Manky is one of them. And
Manky?
yeah, manky.
Like, or something's manky, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
then I was like, oh, well, if you don't know manky, then do you know mingin? Because I'm like, so I'm like, because that's an awesome word, and I can't.
Yeah. I
I
don't know. I don't know if it's English generally or if it's more northern, but yeah, minging just means something's yuck. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
yes, words are very powerful, and I think how you say them as well,
Yeah.
because and how you pair them with actions, because you can. I feel as if people could have worn the jersey that said, "This is I'm supporting the people, if not the movement," or I don't know, in some way. So it could have been more inclusionary as
Mm.
opposed to exclusionary. I don't want it to be a part of me. I think it says more about a person by what you can, embrace.
Yeah, I think it's your capacity for love, basically.
Mm.
Your capacity for love, because even with your family, right? You can't choose your family.
No.
And you might not like them sometimes. You might not like
Mm.
them a lot of the time,
Mm.
but it's your capacity to love. I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing about family is it takes a lot for you not to love them.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what happens. And I know there's some family, there's some terrible things that happen in some families, and you should
Mm.
never obviously accept things that, threaten your safety and your health and your well-being
Mm.
over the concept that, oh, we're family. No, that's not right. But
Mm.
still we have this kind of, like, I know I'm going off a tangent here, like humanity has a capacity, such a huge capacity for love.
Mm.
And oh, I heard this line and I loved it and I've forgotten it. I should have written it down. It was on the movie I watched. It was something like, don't allow the fear to outweigh the love, or something. It was
Mm.
so much more beautiful,
So much
beautifully
more
put.
eloquent.
So much more eloquent than that. I just thought, oh, such beautiful words. Because we all have
Mm.
fear,
Mm.
and it's just about allowing the love to outshine the fear.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
mm. And back to the Jersey thing. I do recall another thing. I mean, and it sounds. I'm assuming it's true. Is that the players didn't really get much of a heads up about it. It was just a
Mm.
here's some jerseys wearing these kind of thing.
Mm.
There wasn't much
Right.
of an what's the word? There wasn't an inclusive discussion about the
Yeah.
plan
Yeah.
and what it meant.
Mm.
Um, mm,
Yeah. I think it is important what some of them said about allowing Christians and other faiths to have their beliefs, I think is important as well, as long as you're able to give them time to react. I think that's important. If they really did kind of just hand them the jersey and didn't talk about it at the first, maybe then the players were just reacting. And their reaction, when you first react to something, it might not be, as pretty as you'd like it to be, especially if the media finds out about it. So, and I don't think it ever helps to vilify anybody. So it's always good to see two sides and give them the opportunity to love,
opportunity to love. I
the
like that.
opportunity to love.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, I
Such
like
a
that.
yeah, no, it might have turned out better if maybe they had been given some heads up about it, or had a discussion about it or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
But,
That's
mm,
true. Um, Talking of LGBT, did you wear purple
I did
on
not,
Friday?
because it was my day off,
Oh, so
and
it's your
I
day off,
don't.
so I don't wear purple. That doesn't. How do you link those two together?
Because in my head, I'm always, I'm working. So like, because if it's, I don't know, in my head, it just makes sense that if it's work, I'm gonna, wear purple, or, wear yellow or whatever for Daffodil Day or whatnot. But I wasn't working, so, but I did actually end up at work, and no, I didn't wear purple. I don't know if I have anything purple, although I know your favorite color is purple. But I don't actually know what Purple Day is
So I'm
for.
just looking now. So it's Wear It Purple Day, and I actually hadn't heard of it either. It just came
Mm,
into my feed.
mm,
So I posted about it.
mm.
And the theme, and it's obviously an annual thing. There's so many things. We need to be across this. So many
Yeah,
things. This year,
clearly.
the theme they have decided for Wear It Purple Day is Still Me, Still Human.
Yeah.
The message being that people tend to focus on labels. True.
Mm,
The
mm,
news story, the target or data, and forget what they truly are, which is human. Absolutely. So, Wear It Purple, Still Me, Still Human was on Friday, on the
mm,
26th of August. So I'm assuming it's the 26th of August every year.
Mm,
Yeah, and I just really love the artwork. I love that graphic.
mm.
It was of people holding hands or two hands,
Oh yeah.
and and they even have different skin colors on the hand. I don't know if you noticed that. Like different shades of brown and white, beige. And then they had the other arm was like kind of rainbow, representing the LGBTQI.
Mm,
So I just really loved it because I felt like it represented more than the LGBTQI even, just with that,
mm,
just
mm.
represented everything. All different, all human. Still me. I love it. So yeah, that was last week. I wore my jumper. I have a lot of purple things. Do you have any purple things?
I genuinely don't think I have anything purple. Mm,
The
it's not,
color
I
suits
know.
you.
Mm, I just have to go shopping then, don't I?
Yeah, buy something purple.
Buy something purple, get myself ready for next year. Mm,
And then we had another story, didn't we?
yes, we did. A semi-interesting one, I suppose, of Daniel Craig. I imagine he doesn't think it's fairly interesting, but that came out in The Guardian. Basically, it talks about how, well, Daniel Craig, that, he spent a lot of his time, defying the expectations of masculinity.
See?
And well, I feel like and what they're referencing is the fact that his Bond is is a more vulnerable Bond.
Sorry, I love
Uh,
Bond. You know me,
I know you
007.
do.
I
Yes,
watched every single Bond movie. I was
yes.
addicted to them as a child. I would not child, but old enough to watch Bonds. I just watched every single one. I had them recorded on video. I just had to watch them if they were even on TV. Love it.
Oh, yeah. I was the opposite. I did not like him. I found him to be a bit sleazy until Daniel Craig, I must say,
Mm.
because I thought he was a little bit, nuanced in his performance of Bond. Still very whatever.
Yeah, but it's like a formula.
Oh
It's that
yeah.
formula they have. And I mean, really, it is misogynistic. It is all of those things for sure,
Mm. But entertaining.
but entertaining. And I just love the spy whole thing. I
Mm.
mean, I don't know how they've made him. What did you say? What did you say? Question masculinity. What was that?
No, no, no. That was more to do with. So they're saying that he's played a more vulnerable Bond. So
Okay.
it doesn't come as a surprise that he has said in a podcast with one of his friends that he likes going to gay bars, actually. And one of the reasons that he likes going to gay bars is that he doesn't get into fights.
Mm.
So, and he has said that when he goes to more hetero bars, he gets into quite a lot of fights. And this is, over the years, not as, well, I imagine not so much as his own 53-year-old self,
Mm.
but over the years that he's been doing that. But he also said that it could be a great place to meet girls, because girls go to gay bars for the same reason that he was going to gay bars,
To
in
not
that
get in
it's a
fights.
exactly serious punch up with the girls in normal bars. But no, that it was a safe space
Yeah.
for them to have a night out with the girls. But I suppose one of the things, and I think in general, the LGBT community has felt fine with that statement, except they have said that the part where he talks about picking up girls is a tad gross.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
um but they've said that, who amongst us hasn't taken a straight friend to the gay bar who's ended up pulling, so it,
I was just like, I don't know how that demystifies masculinity, but
mm.
whatever. Um, yeah, I found that interesting. Is that the only, so that was the only controversy around?
Well, there was this, he does talk about the fact that he is, he said that for all of his co-stars, male co-stars, they do have a smooch when they're, I don't know, I've missed the part where they've
What do you mean have a smooch?
Yeah, look, let me read it because I feel like I'm gonna get it wrong.
Is this from a reputable news
It is
agency?
The Guardian.
Okay, yeah, The Guardian. Yeah.
I've missed that little face. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, exactly. So recently he sent fans into a spin when he's told Stephen Colbert that he kissed all of his leading men. After the No Time to Die villain Rami Malek said they once had a playful smooch after rehearsal. The thing is, it just breaks the ice, Craig says. So,
okay, I guess it would.
I guess it would. I mean, I can't imagine going to work and then telling my co-workers, just to break the ice.
Let's have a smooch.
Yeah, exactly. Would we classify this as privilege? I don't know.
Oh dear.
To tell your hot co-stars that you just want to, just to break the ice, we'll just have a bit of a smooch. And yeah, so I found that entertaining because it's very random to me. But I suppose when you're Daniel Craig, you can get away with a few things.
Well, I just love the fact that he's so confident in his sexuality and who he is. That to me is a very attractive quality. I remember dating a guy once, and I wanted to go to a gay area, and there's similar. To be honest, I remember going. There was this particular gay area in Manchester, very famous. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, somebody's gonna go, Tracy, you're getting old. Oh, what's it called? Canal Street. And you can imagine people crossing out the sea, right? So Canal Street, Manchester, it's a really, really well-known gay area, like Oxford Street.
Like Oxford Street, yeah.
And I really wanted to go for my birthday because I had so much fun in those bars and those clubs it wasn't even really about not being approached by men or anything like that. It was more about the energy. It was more about dancing. I like to dance, and you could go to non-gay bars and people just stood there drinking.
Yes. Which is a little boring.
Which is a little boring, I have to say. Whereas going to bars where dancing was welcomed and embraced, and a lot of people participated in it. That's what I loved about it. So that's why I love going to those places. I wanted to go for my birthday, and I remember taking the guy I was dating, a boyfriend at the time, and he was so uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. And I was just like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
And it just so to me that's so unattractive. So to me, somebody just knows who they are, what they're like.
Yeah.
Very comfortable in their own skin. And just are not affected by what other people are doing. Then it's very
well. It's all the confidence and stuff, right? That's always amazingly attractive. Because the only other thing that he talked about was when that he's a tactile person, and he remembers that he was caught. He was photographed hugging a male friend, outside of one of these gay bars, and it became a huge thing. Yes, and people wondering, questioning sexuality and stuff like that, and don't think he was very bothered by the whole thing. But he's just like, no, we're two grown men, and we're fine showing emotion and
giving each other a hug. I'm a hugger, so I know you're not. This is really funny. I'm a hugger. Meadle is not a hugger.
No, not at all.
I make her hug me.
Yes.
So,
and I feel like I've gotten better over the years, with my, I'm not as stiff, possibly.
I think I've got two friends who are, and I mean, somebody's gonna get all in arms and say, "Oh, I'm abused. I'm forcing you to hug me."
No,
I wouldn't force her, literally.
You wouldn't force me.
But then I've got a couple of friends, you're one of them, that's not really a
Yes.
hugger.
Mm.
We know who the other one is. That's quite
We
funny.
do know who the other one is. I think we have three friends who are not huggers. But I feel like there's two of us that I actually enjoy the experience. If somebody, I actually don't not like hugging. I'm awkward about initiating hugging because it doesn't come naturally to me. But I actually do enjoy the experience when I am hugging someone who I know and I care about and everything.
Yeah.
And so I actually like it. Whereas I think one of our other friends, she still doesn't quite like it and hasn't really, changed the way she hugs or, that sort of thing over the years. So I think
Yeah,
there
that's
might be,
okay.
that might be two different things.
That's
But
okay.
yeah,
And I
no.
get, because I think I saw something on telly. I think it's this new show that's supposed to be going internationally wild. I'm not watching it. I just saw an
Mm,
ad, called The Bridge, I think. The
mm,
Bridge, the Build a Bridge or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think so. I've
So I
heard
saw
of
an
it.
ad where they're adding, dropping people in wherever it is. And I remember people meeting going, hi, my name is, and hugging each other. And there was one
Mm,
person that's like, I'm not comfortable hugging. And it wasn't because
yes.
of COVID. I was like, oh, is it COVID? No, it was because she's not comfortable hugging.
Yeah.
And she didn't understand the concept of hugging people that you just met. And I can kind of relate to
Mm,
that.
yeah,
I'm
fair
not
enough.
inclined to hug everybody that I've just met. Really, I'm not, actually.
Yeah.
I need a bit of warm up.
Yeah.
Need a bit of a warm up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
I did have a boss who I remember the oh no, second proper boss. And at Christmas time, he came over and he gave me a gift and he gave me a little peck on the cheek. I remember thinking that has never happened before, and it was very strange. It wasn't, terrible or abusive or anything like that.
Let's just say
It
this is
was
not
just
sexual harassment. We're
no,
not
no,
talking about
no,
that.
no,
No, no.
no, exactly, not at all. It was nice. He was older, and he was just, I think, he is just an affectionate person. But I never actually met an affectionate man, I guess.
Mm.
So most of my family is very much like me. So we're not huggers. So it was nice, actually. I think
Yeah.
that you feel comfortable enough to do that.
Mm.
So obviously, I'd known him for a while by then. So
Oh, there you go. So Daniel Craig, I think, me loving Bond, I really think the next Bond should be bisexual.
mm. Well, I think they're talking about the next Bond being a woman.
Well, the next Bond
So
was a woman in the last
it
Bond movie.
was, but I think because she wasn't the Bond. Like I think the
No.
Bond still, Daniel Craig was still there, but I think there might be a film with just her. So
Well, she's a 007, but she's probably not Bond, though, is she? As in, the name's
mm,
different.
oh yeah, true.
Mm,
Can't remember what her name was actually.
me neither.
Hmm.
Me neither.
Anyway,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. I'd like to
yeah.
see like a flexual sexual.
What is that a thing?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Because I definitely have not heard that before.
No, flexual sexual um Bond character. I think that would be. There'd probably be outrage, but I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, I'd like to see a Bond that isn't white, perhaps.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother,
Oh God,
whole
they were
other.
talking about Idris Elba for a while there, and that would have been amazing. Yes, I would have gone and watched that. That definitely would have worked for me.
I bet. I bet.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh dear.
All
Yeah.
right. I don't know. So that's all we wanted to talk about this week.
I do believe so.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. Thank you for joining me. Any good, exciting things happening coming up for you?
No, I don't think so. Just work starting.
Mm.
Well, ending. Mm, no, that's it. We have to organize your birthday. Well, I think you have organized your birthday.
Yes, I can't wait. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's happening. Need to get away. Really look
Mm,
forward to it. Mm.
that will be amazing.
In fact, I know it won't happen by the time I record this next one. Well, all right then. So I
Mm,
guess I'll see you next Wednesday. Not
yeah,
quite
I
as
guess.
catchy as any other day. See you
Yes,
next Wednesday for more news. And if anybody has any stories they want to share, especially we like the cultural ones, anything about their culture, things they love, things they don't love so much, any stories, how they've handled comments about their ethnicity or their sexuality or whatever. We'd be really keen to hear it and even read it out.
Absolutely.
So please do share. And you will find us on All One Inclusive. That's ALL number 1 NCLUSIVE. That's the name of this podcast because All Inclusive was gone. That's why we picked this one. So All One, because we are all one. So until next time, see you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday. Actually, we did forget to mention the email.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We have an email.
We do.
Oh my gosh. Right. So the email, you can email us your stories.
Yes.
Now, let me go. It's all one. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? All one.
Oh my God. Wait. Am I right in that? All one with Tracy G?
Yes, that's it. All one with Tracy G at gmail.com. That's all one, as in the number 1, at Tracy G. No, with Tracy G at gmail.com. I've got to say it 3 times now.
I think so.
All number 1 with Tracy G at gmail.com. Yeah, send us your stories. We'd love to read them out.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, Mino.
No problem.
All right then. All right. See you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.